All right. Welcome to the show, everybody. Inside the Sidelines, Coach DJ Jennings. I have with me today Coach Irving and our reappearing guest, Coach Perry. How y'all gentlemen doing today?
Fine, big brother. Fine. Good to see you and Coach Perry.
Yeah, glad y'all guys could join, man. This will be our second episode of Inside the Sidelines. And basically what we do, we talk about youth football, all the way up from youth to the little boys, all the way up to high school and going into college. So some of the things we're going to be talking about today, we'll get into it here in a minute. But first off, man, congratulations to everybody on the call. I appreciate y'all being a part of this thing, man. Hopefully this thing take off. Hopefully what we saying is what people want to hear. If they don't, then they disagree. Now, one disclaimer I got to put out there. What we say is our opinion. That's our opinion. It don't necessarily mean you have to agree with it, but we have our opinion and we have a right to say what our opinion is. Now, so we put that out there first and foremost, let everybody know, hey, this is our opinion in things we did, coaches situation we got into, these things we did. So we just sharing it with y'all. All right, coaches. Well, without further ado, man, let's go and kick this thing off, man. Preseason, right now. How do y'all gentlemen feel about year-round football? Because, we have leagues that play fall ball, do a full season, whether it be 12, 13 games, or whatever, then they go into playoffs. And then you got some teams that take on bowl games and play. And then they might be down end of December, January, then spring ball kick off again. And they're playing football all year round. How do you, as a football coach, and all us had kids play ball, like we were just talking. Coach Perry has son still playing college ball. How y'all feel about youth playing year-round football? Go ahead, Coach Irving.
Oh man, great question. Oh man, kind of straddling the fence on that, Coach Perry. And what I mean is, I think where I'm at now as a parent and coach, a former coach, and quite sure you guys will piggyback off this one way or the other. I think it depends on the age. And I think the parents have to be around some men like yourself or others. And so whoever watches this, I'm not trying to be biased, but you got to make sure you're around some coaches or parents that have been there and done this with the new things that have developed over the last few years with the transfer portal and the NIL to find out really where your child is at. Because you have some schools that don't even look at you coming right out of high school. So if you're playing too early, you could burn them out if their bodies are not developed. And if they are talented in a lot of other sports, you don't want to hinder the child from enjoying their youth as well. So it's a thin line. Now I don't want to talk it to death, so DJ, you have to cut me off. Just look at Coach Perry, for example. He has a young man, and I remember, matter of fact, Coach Perry, I was over in Irmo a few weeks ago, and it brought back some memories between me and you, DJ, several years, I think, when you met my son, and your son was like 7th or 8th grade. And to tie back into the question you asked, Coach DJ, is Coach Perry, my son is an assistant recruit coordinator for Clemson. And after he realized he wasn't going to be 6'4" and 6'5", he's told me recently with the recruits that are committed to Clemson and what he's learning from the physical side of football and been playing all those years from 6 years old all the way up, he still loves the game. But he was like, Daddy, your body got to be in real good shape to take those hits for those years. So I hope that ties back in. I think you got to be careful on the age, DJ, or Coach Jennings and Coach. We got to be careful with that because you almost got to now. In baseball, they doing it. And if you mess around and fall off and don't play in that, them boys on that during that throwing 90 miles an hour, 13, 14 years old. So you could have some little parents down there that knock your socks off too at 13 and 14. And if that kid get away from it, you know, and come back, he be that same one you thought was gonna be a dog, he be turned into a little puppy. But I'm that's a little nervous, but I hope that kind of kick started it, if that make any sense. What you think?
Go ahead, Coach Perry.
Me personally, and I'm gonna piggyback off what Coach Irving said. I'm on the fence, but I'm more leaning towards I'm against it. That's a lot of licks for a young man.
Yes, sir.
I mean, it's a lot of licks. And I'm gonna jump straight out of youth football into pro football. It's a reason that they have eliminated. Well, let me back up. Pro football is over about February. The veterans don't show back up to July, and there's a reason for that. And it's a reason where they've moved away from not postseason, preseason game and more to the playing game. Just too many injuries, body is beat up. The body if you got a dog like Coach Irvin says, his body's gonna beat up because you can't turn him off. You see, if he's playing 24/7, you taking a lick, you got concussions, and I don't know what the protocol is with these coaches just sicking them on them, or whatever they're doing. You got to get that body time to rest. Now, I couldn't speak before. I have several nephews and uncle and brothers that's play NFL and stuff like that. It's different now than when my son tell me. I'll never forget the day he left. When he called back, he said, "Daddy, I'm all right, but this ain't for everybody."
It is.
And that he left in June and came on one time. And then when he first went as a freshman, you have to compete. The non-contact is what I'm talking about. 7-on-7, love it. Track, love it. My son was a baseball player. It's other stuff out there to get better. And I'll just give you a good example. When my son was being recruited, and we go back to the size, he played middle linebacker. And when they send his numbers out, they looking for a 6'2", 6'3" guy. And these guys say there's nowhere in the world that this is that guy. You know what I'm saying? So when 707 came back in, Coach Knotts, my hats off to him. He retooled my son. He took him from the inside, moved him to the outside so the scouts could see him. We knew he could play, but we had to see him in the open field.
Gotcha.
And 707 got him there. When he was guarding those, he increased his speed. I think when he was about like a sophomore, junior, he was like a 4.5 guy. When he went to 707, he became like a 4.4, 4.3 guy, speed wise. He knew what to do, and it just enhances his skill set. So I don't like it on the young level.
Yes, sir.
I think these coaches take them and they run these little boys to death and they beat up on them. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's that's a lot. But as you get older, you probably introduce, but that's a lot wear and tear on the body.
Yes, sir.
And I'm just kind of on the fence with it. I hadn't really coached in the spring, so to say, but I'm a more of a conditioning guy. I believe that carries you. That's a long time. You think about high school. And I can speak for most high schools are the same. These guys start in May. They may get a couple of weeks breaks, and they don't end in November. That's a long time.
Long time.
Long time. My son just started spring practice. He practiced a week before he come home. He on spring break and he go right back to it. And you figure they'll get May off, and he won't stop the late November, first week of December. That's a long time on that body. So and like your son said up there, Clemson, them boys are taking them licks. And we as get older, but I ain't gonna keep going on. So to answer your question, Coach Irving, I'm kind of mixed on it, man. I hadn't been on the sidelines in a while. I don't know if it enhances the kids or hinder them, but I do think that's a lot of wear and tear on the body.
Well, I can see both points. I'm more like you, Coach Perry. I really don't think that's something we do. And for the simple fact that it's because of the number of licks you're taking and the burnout of the kids, like you were saying, Coach Irvin, and stuff like that. It's the reason, like you say, it's the reason you had that break so you can get your body retuned, get some fluids in you, get yourself, have some rest. Because when you out there and you really hitting, you really putting it forth, especially the older you get. What what we say all the time. Whatever you do when you're young, come back to you and get old.
Oh boy.
So, so it's gonna come back to you. So if if it was up to me, I would tell my kids, no. You play one, you can play the fall. But you, like you said, baseball. My kids played baseball most of the time. If they weren't playing football, they're playing baseball. And I had one play lacrosse too. Now, I'll be honest with you, I didn't have a clue what he was doing out there, but they gave him a stick and told him he can run around and hit throw the ball with it. So I said, all right, well, to go for it. But yeah, that's where I'm at. So so the next question, man. How, I guess y'all guys, I mean, we coach with different organizations, did different things. Uh, how would you describe your coaching style?
Mm. You who
You
you
don't
ready?
matter. Either one. You don't.
Oh, go.
I can
Go
take
ahead.
it if you want to.
Yes, sir.
I'm old fashioned. I hadn't caught up. I believe in fundamentals first. Win, baby, win. I love winning. But I think if we're trying to improve the guys, winning has to come second to making sure these young men understand, because this is you can take these same things and use it for life. Teamwork, and somebody depending on the man next to you, getting your block. I think all three of us have been in the military. We can relate back to when we played youth to what it is now, to be able to develop a kid, see that light come on, and I think we said this on a previous episode. That kid see you in the store and he runs up to you and say, "Hey, Coach Perry." I mean, for me, that's all the world. And he ain't playing liquor sports now. He only playing that game. But I knew he got something out of that, because we know only 7%. Is it 7% of kids in football will go on to play college level? That's 7% from NAIA all the way up to D1 to the Power Five. So you got 100 kids. Every 100 kids, you only got about 7. I think it's 3%. I think it may be. That's only 3 out of every 100. Or 3 out of 300 out, whatever you do the math. So, but it's a chance to teach kids basic things in life, how to be accountable, and that's going to carry them a lot further than I say that, but the percentage of them will carry them a lot further than football will. A lot of them will be out at an early age, but it'll be some things that they'll take with them in life. So my coaching style is to just fundamental, have fun. You can have fun on those levels. This high school stuff is getting where it ain't. It's no fun. It's work. It's work. And Coach, your son come on his work. He come on, he get his school work, and then he go to school, and it's a full day's work. So while we're at the youth level, we still got to make it fun and make solid structure. So for me, I think it's just by being fundamental and keep them, keeping them grounded.
Go ahead, Coach Perry.
Coach DJ, Coach Perry dropped the mic, man. Both of y'all, like he just said, from a military standpoint, from the fundamentals, and I'm grinning because we all, the three of us, know the landscape, even from the youth level, has changed. And the same Coach Perry, but looking back, I would like to believe, at least I hope that I talked to the youth instead of Adam.
Yes, sir. That makes sense.
Because it's a big transition nowadays, when quite sure you see it, Coach Perry, you as well as Coach Jennings. You have some of the games I got to go to this past year, high school games. You see some of the young men that I want to say appear, because I don't want to judge them, but they so sensitive now to somebody in their face in, what is it, year 2025? So is it fair to say the last really 5 to 10 years with the social media, where Coach Perry or Coach Jennings, matter of fact, we just use our sons. All of us had sons play high school, and if you were coaching them, and you just told them, look, get your head out your ass. But that used to be, that's our thing, like, and you keep it moving.
That's the norm.
That's the norm. But if Big Mama Jones don't like that, you allowed to be on WAS and WLTX. And the little fella that everybody run home to watch the high school football. Guess what? Coach Jennings and Coach Perry, Coach Irving, allegedly got allegations for harassment So it's, forgive me for laughing, but it's different when you got to still get that message across. So it could still, it was even, I look back because it hadn't been that long, challenging because we all dads, all fathers. And I'm proud, but all of y'all have coached young men that then also have a father in their life. And just to what Coach Perry was saying, and I know it's not happening to you, Coach DJ, man, it even give me goosebumps now when you run into a young man or a young man running to you in the store or the mall. Like, Coach, I thank you. You don't even have to say nothing. You just know that means you did something right. He striving to do, he ain't got nothing to do with no football, no nothing, but you taught him something that we used to have this saying, and I'm gonna let you go. You got to practice and do this when nobody around, just like somebody's around.
That's right. You got to be and watch because you always are.
Yep. That's it. Yes, sir.
Well, I had that same aha moment, and I can say this because my son, my oldest son, when he graduated college, we had a party at the house, and he had a lot of his friends came over. He went to high school with that came by, congratulating him. Well, it was this one kid that showed up. Him and his girlfriend came by. The kid went to University of Alabama. Now, he played football on our middle school championship team that we won. I couldn't remember the kid to save my life, but the kid remembered me. He said, "Man, Coach Jennings, oh man." I was like, "Huh?" He said, "You the reason I went to Alabama." He said, "Because you told us that a lot of us gonna go on and we're not gonna play another down of football. But the fact we won this championship, they'll never be able to take that from me." And he said, as I went through school, I never played another down of football. He said, but I got accepted to the University of Alabama. He was in his senior year. And he was right. And he was just in awe that I was there. And I was like, that's my son graduated. I was supposed to be there. He said, yeah, but I hadn't seen you since I left. And I just appreciate everything you taught us because he said, you was one of the motivated guys I've ever met. And I said, well, I appreciate that, son. I'm glad you're doing good. So, I mean, every kids come to you, you can't even remember, man. And those smaller boys or even your middle school kids or your high school kids, they'll come up to you, man. You see them in the store and slap five with you, give you a hug, tell you, appreciate everything you done for me, Coach. And man, to me, that's better than any piece of money I put on my hand on.
Gotcha, bro.
Yeah. But yeah, my coaching style is very simple. I start off my kids every practice. I run them because I want them to run and get in shape. Because there's gonna be a lot of them that gonna show up that ain't gonna be in shape. Now you're gonna have kids that run track and play baseball and basketball and everything else. But I say this, and anybody want to challenge me on it, football shape and track shape is two different shapes. Football shape is knowing somebody come to put them hands on you. Track, you run against the wind.
Yes, sir.
Ain't nobody gonna take you out, pull you out your body on a track field. But in this thing we call it's a gladiator sport, and people get hurt. So if you go out there, don't keep your head on the swivel, get caught looking in the backfield, and don't know who's around you, and when you get lit up, you're gonna be looking up at the sky wondering why. So it's rough. This is not, like you said, it's safe for everybody.
Yes, sir.
People that stay in it, they understand it, and they keep moving. But it ain't for everybody. And that's why you have the percentages you have getting in that actually go to college, and the ones that do go to college that actually make pro. Oh man, just to make a practice is good.
Right.
But moving on, man. Guys, y'all got any questions y'all want to
ask? Well, I wanted to run one I run it to Perry to you. I'm whether he believe it or not, which I know he do. I'm excited, and thank you again for having us on, man. What you just talking about with the styles, and he still have a young man that's playing and doing exceptionally well. And you got to be doing well just to be on the team. But when you playing, you doing your thing. you say a question, but well, what do you guys think from where you all are at now as parents and still coaching? Well, Coach Perry, you have a young man that's playing, and you get to hear right down to the modern time versus what it might have been 10 years ago. Any suggestions you would have for these new parents coming along, because you know the other elephant in the room. I don't really have no names. I wouldn't say no names anyway, but you gonna have them daddy boys and outer boys, and you know everybody want to be the next superstar, but a lot of them get a false perspective from TV and all. So y'all have anything from, I'm gonna just say, I guess be fair to say, from the 10 to 12 youth up, that if you were doing it again, what would you do different, if anything, with because you gave an answer, Coach Perry gave his answer, and DJ, you was well on the year round, but just in the seasonal, but in the off season, what would you tell a mom or a married couple? I mean, you know, we just addressing our community with it, and it says, how would you all do that if you had to do it again with some of these young men coming through the channels with the youth football, playing, conditioning, anything you would do different? That's my question.
Well, getting involved with the program I got involved with this past season, we had a bunch of young kids, real young kids. I mean, I had 8 youth, so I had some young and kids I really didn't know. I had seen them playing, but I didn't know them, you know, as far as how they practice, stuff like that. So what I used to do is go and record the games for them. I could take tape and break it down and look at it and see who did what, who didn't do this, who didn't make the block or whatever. But as far as knowing the kids, I never knew them. This year, I had an opportunity to spend some time with them kids, and got to know them and who could do what. And then I was offense coordinator too, so I had to I took my offense, and it pretty much was the offense they was running anyway. I just enhanced it a little bit, ran a little faster, made it a lot simpler. So, you know, you got 8-year-olds, so they could understand what we're saying. You know, less is best. You know, you don't need a whole lot of verbiage when you're talking to 8-year-old kids. The less you say, the better it is, because they can pick it up rather quickly. But as you know, where you go, and Coach Perry can agree, and I know you agree too, Coach Irving, you have mamas and daddies that think their kid is the next Jaden Daniel, or or the great Tom Brady, or whoever. And not only quarterbacks, but you know, running backs, uh, kids' natural positions that you see. You'd be like, why you got that kid playing this position when you know he better at that position? Well, I've had parents say, well, I spent a lot of money in the offseason to get this kid ready to be a quarterback, or get this kid ready to be a running back, and that's what I want him to do. I understand that. But if your kid don't want to play the position, and it's been many times that has happened, kids don't, I mean, the child don't want to play that position. I had a quarterback get on the center at practice. Ask me, now he's supposed to be called to play. He come on and ask me, can I go to wide receiver? Huh? What is you talking about? Man, if you're supposed to be calling, how you gonna be the play caller? And you talking about, can you go play a wide receiver? And I'd be one of the same, but see, mom and dad wasn't there to see that. They drop them off, they come back, pick them up. Now, I think one of the biggest honors in the world is for a parent to trust you with their child, and they leave their child with you for 2 hours, and they go away and come back at the end of practice. On the downside of that, they don't get to see that kid practice. And when you don't see your kid practice, then your kid get out there and do things that they think they're doing, and they think they're doing. For example, I had a kid over at high school. Mama pulled up, got out the car. Me and another coach standing there. Coach, I got a question for you. I said, well, ma'am, hopefully I got a good answer for you. She said, I understand. My son show up practice every day. I pick him up every day, but he don't never get in the game. I said, well, ma'am, you sure about that? Absolutely. I said, son, you talk to your mom you tell your mom why you don't get in the game? Well, mama, we need to go. We need to go. Oh, no. No. You don't need to go. Tell your mama why you don't get in the game. So he told his mom. I said, no, go and tell her right here in front of me. Go and tell her. What you be doing at practice? I'll be over there with the kickers. Yeah, he be over there with kickers. When I tell you his mama went upside his head and told him, get in the car and don't be playing around with me. I'm out here trying to see why you ain't playing and you over there playing around in practice. Now I know why you ain't playing. You know you ain't no so-and-so kicker. Get in the car. So that was, I mean, that's crazy. So, parents come out there and their kids, a lot of the parents tell the parents they doing this and that and other, and they're not doing it. So, to get back to your question though, it's audible. I mean, what I normally do, I try to get with parents and let them know, hey, I take everybody. Like when I first went over there, when me and Perry got back coaching over there with at the organization he was with, I looked at all the kids, see who was strong well, and that's where I put them at. And I had some parents that was upset, might have been upset, but at the end of the day, Coach Perry told me, he said, you come coach with me, I have the parents, don't worry about it. So that's where I'm at, man. I hope I answered your question.
Man.
What about weight?
Coach Irving, I think it falls back on the coaching. I think for the most part, kids are the same. But just you said it earlier. We got the daddy ball. We got my homeboy buddy ball. We got the little girl we like son ball. You follow what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And NIL has hit. NIL from the parents' point has hit the youth football. Who kicking out the most? Pay my son out this, how about it? That's what's happening.
Right.
But I think it falls on the coaches of identifying a child's strength and weakness. And you tell a parent, look, if you got to look, I mean, we're not perfect at what we say. Some thin out and some get a little thick. But for the most part, if he out there and he can barely keep up, he's probably not going to be a skill player. Right. And then we got some skill players just ain't going to catch that ball.
That's right. That's right.
You see what I'm saying? So I think we have to go back to the coaches. And that goes back to his first question of go to fundamentals and being able to identify, where kid and as he get older, he'll adjust, he'll pick up speeds, and it goes back to your first thing. You say you got something out there that with dogs, now they puppies because now they getting hit.
Yes, sir.
You see what I'm saying? The lights on. Some of the lights come on early, but I think from a parent, I mean, if I can do it, I'm not playing that daddy ball. I'm gonna take if I gotta take him across town, I want him to get on the field. He ain't got to be number one. I just want him to have an opportunity to play. But when you going around here and all they do, and here's the other thing. You up about 3 or 4 times. I don't even think these teams have skunk rules anymore, do they? I'm not even sure if the leagues have skunk rules. DJ, do they have a mercy rule?
Yeah, I know in Skyfall, once you score 28 points, it's a running clock. But
it's a running clock. Yeah, but do we have coaches? Do we have coaches trying, trying to build a depth, get kids opportunities? See,
yeah. I mean,
from the other team, that's what you're supposed to do.
You should do, yeah. If you want to have depth, you gotta. Yeah, you beating somebody by 30 points, man. Ain't no need you all your starters in.
And try to run him inside the tackles and make him think you high. So to answer your question, Coach, I hadn't been on the sidelines in a while. I've been kind of peeping at it, and I think it still relies on the coaches. Goes back to that initial question about fundamentals, teaching the kids something. I mean, like you said, it's that era with that everybody want to highlight film. Everybody want what they call the tap. Everybody wants to, do their thing. But it's like Coach Jennings said, come on, you got a kid come out, they want to be a quarterback. He couldn't even hit the ground if he dropped the ball. You know what I'm saying? But parents have to keep it realistic. And that's why I met with. I think as a parent, if you have the means to find your son a program that's gonna evaluate him for what he is, the best that they know how. Now, I tell you what's unique with your question. That's one of the issues we didn't have over my league. They aren't. For the most part, those parents they just want them to have a uniform on. If he got in the game, I understand. But for the good of the team, I know he's not that running back.
Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying? I know he's not that. Right. Hey, and I give you another good example. And I don't think Jenny remember this. The quarterback for Rich Northeast, the one that's going Northeast. I can't call the kid name. He was offensive. I'm just showing you how things change. He was offensive lineman Oh, I
Wow.
can't call his dad is the head coach of Northeast. Now he got a scholarship as a quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks in the state. But he started as an offensive lineman. But what we did do, he didn't seem like he was going to do that. But as the year went along, we would put the ball in his hand when we could, once he understood, and look at him now. So you just gotta let him go in. I mean, I imagine his daddy got him over that hump, but he's like 6'5" now. He's a pretty good ball. I just can't call his name at the moment, but it goes back to tell the parents, you got to get you some good coaching.
Yeah.
And that's in any sports that you do. It ain't just football. It's going to be baseball. And everything has that daddy rule in there. I'm not letting my son play for nobody. Their son got a son on the team. Right. And that was one of the things when Jennings came to work with me. I said, Jennings, ain't nobody over there want to be a coach. Everybody over there had a child on the team, right, Jennings?
Yeah, every last one of them.
And when I brought you over there, when I say, Jennings, you gonna be there? He said, period, I don't want to come over and take nobody. Ain't nobody want to be a head coach. They want to coach their kids. Now they were good coaches and they were good people and they mean well, but they wanted to coach their kids, right? Yeah. I didn't have a dog in the fight. And I told Jennings then, I said, you come over there and coach this team and don't worry about the parents. I'll take care of the parents. You come do what you do. And what did we do? We won the state championship, right?
Yeah, we sure did. We won that round.
I kept that was Irving, the homeboy, talk that noise to me, right?
Yeah.
Irving know that guy?
Yeah, you knew oh man, what the guy name? He was with the Capital City Chargers.
No, not him.
Not,
the little short guy.
I know you're talking about, yeah. He coached up there with them boys. That's where he came from. Up there in Anderson County.
Hey, he was up there with Tank. Tank,
that's what we talking about, Tank. That's what we talking about, Tank. Irving, the guy told me, tell him what he told me. He said, man, y'all ain't gonna win nothing over here. He said, you and them little boys ain't gonna win nothing over here. You ain't gonna win nothing. I said, I told him at that meeting, I said, you'll be handing me the trophy at the end of the year. I promise you that. Because I knew I was bringing discipline. What we do, Jennings, we run up there and run them down up and down the field, and he gonna hand Jennings the trophy. I said, Jennings, get that trophy back to him. And when I told him, Jennings, I said, get that trophy back to him. The Seminoles up there hadn't lost in 2 years.
Wow.
Man. Oh man, they hadn't lost, man. Them boys were disrespectful too, boy. But
I remember you talking about that. I remember you talking about the boys was tough. Okay.
He wanted. They walked through our practice, boy. They walking through our practice, coming marching with their little staff and everything.
Oh wow!
That's all right. So we dust them off in Irmo, and then we went there. I think we lost that game, and then we got in the championship. Man, we played up at Spartanburg High School.
Hey, Coach Irving. We beat him so bad down in Irma, we had to call the sheriff department to get him out of there. Hey, so listen, let me tell you how bad this thing was. When we went up there to play them in Greenville, we took our own sheriff there. We talking about youth football. And I told him, what that dude told me, he said, I'll bury you out here. This young cat just talking, but you know what? Let me tell you why I respect that young man. Now, he was kind of, he was a little extra. But I'm going to tell you, and I still don't know that coach to his name. He was the main one popping that lip and talking that noise. But when we called him in that state championship and when we jump on and run him dead, run him hot, my man come over there, he couldn't do nothing but shake my hand. And I respect him to this day. And I knew he was just popping. Then I realized he was younger and he was popping in front of his players.
Yeah.
But he was a man at the end. He come and say, yeah, y'all like that.
That's all right.
Yeah. That was all right. And I appreciate the young man, but he's like, man, he talked that noise to me like, blah, 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 blah. Jenny said, don't say nothing. I didn't turn like they turn. I'm getting like they get. You know what I'm saying? And, but that was funny. And then old Tank gonna hand the doggone trophy to Jennings. I said, no, Jennings. No, Jennings, get that trophy back to him. You gave me the trophy. I told you be handing me that trophy. Hey, Irving, we run them hard up there. And look at that same little. I told Jennings then, I said, we'll beat them, but because we got discipline.
Yeah.
I told him, I said, we'll beat them because we got discipline.
Make a difference.
And we run them hot.
It make a difference, man.
But yeah, Coach, but I think, go ahead.
Yeah, let's talk about, since we got on the AAU track, let's talk about AAU and football. Because, AAU football was non-existent in the Columbia area. Now, This man on the phone right now, Coach Irving, was one of them ones. We had what we call the Northeast War Eagles, and we tried to put that program together, but we never had enough kids to fill our roster. There's so much other stuff going. Well, making a long story short, we end up telling our kids, "Hey, let's go build this program with West Columbia." We went over to West Columbia and got with the Bearcats, and from that program just stuck because I think Coach Irving used with 12U, and I basically was along for the ride. I just basically went around, took pictures, stuff like that. But we ended up taking two teams, 10U and the 12U, to Florida, and got down there and played. And I think the 12U ended up finished like fourth in the nation, and the 10U ended up finished second in the nation. And crazy thing about it, the 10U ended up playing a team called the Central Virginia Hurricanes, and they're right down the street from where I live in Virginia. So, tell you, a small world. I had to go all the way to Florida to see some people I knew from the house, but it's crazy, ain't it? So, the difference between AAU, Pop Warner, and now we got Skyper here, and that's making a big, big, big push in the Columbia area. There's a lot of teams playing with Skyper now. And the reason for it, first of all, number one, no weight limit, relatively inexpensive to play. Now the organizations may charge more to play, but as far as getting a team registered with the league, once you pay your league fee, that's it. Now it's up to you to organize your referees, get your home field, do all that stuff. You organize that as an organization. So, just to put it simply, you run your organization. Your program representative, whoever it is, might be, you say president or whoever, that team runs their organization. So they don't have to get permission from nobody to do this and do that, or none of that sort. They can pretty much fundraise when they get ready. I mean, because some of those teams play year round. Our organization wasn't one of them, but they do have teams that play year round. So, man, talk a little bit about AAU, man, and what made you get involved when you got involved, and some of the things you learned while you was doing coaching AAU.
Ooh, and forgive me for my technical difficulties, but I know you're working out.
Yeah.
Oh man, what happened actually, Coach Perry and Coach DJ, Coach Jennings? My childhood best friend, James Daniel Jr. Hopefully y'all get to meet him one day. In got me going back 2014. He was on Clemson, man. We took Cardill to the Dabo Swinney camp his first time. Coach Perry, that's when he was already in love with Clemson. But you go up there, all that, and you're young. He didn't miss nail after until the pandemic. But in that, my childhood best friend had talked me into taking him to Dabo in 2014. And we come back, he seen something. He's more of a computer geek at that time, online or somewhere about AAU. And for you fellas here over in the metro, we country boys, country guys. He was like, Melvin, cause they're gonna be too big to play Part 1, cause they had the weight limit at that time. And he run into something that was out of Charleston or Somerville or something with who Coach Jennings, and I don't know if you got to meet him, Perry, but a fella named B.D. Waddell. I think B.D. Waddell the fourth or whatever.
Yeah, I'm running with him too.
Yeah, but that's another subject for another day. We're gonna stick to the but I got to give credit where credit is. He called Coach Beat It at the time, and we went down Matter of fact, I still keep up with you. Remember Big Ron, Big Kendall, DJ, Big
Yeah.
Ron White?
Mm-hmm.
We went down to a little workout, or I guess like they little spring camp, what they was beginning to do. And what really happened with myself from my friend was, because it was going to be too big, and I had been blessed enough to see where we were at and where I thought he would be able to be in time, but kind of off of baseball. In our areas, a lot of the bigger schools and programs and stuff were like light years ahead of us in fundamentals, in development. And I thought he had a knack for playing, but I wanted him to be able to compete, to have that foundation that as he get older, it'll come natural to him on when the lights on, game on. And to your question, I think the other part of that question, after we got with that, I think that's when me and you got together.
Yep.
With you was gonna do the War Eagles.
Right.
Off of Killian Road, am I right? Killian Road?
Right.
No, what we just say no, a little, over that way. And from there, I don't know if we ever got the crowd or the group we needed for what we was doing. But we met Coach CD, Coach Darryl Stoops, and Big Wade, and Chris. I don't, if I gotta give him credit, I can't think of his name right off. But Coach Chris, they had the West Columbia Bearcats, and we merged. And I ended up coaching with Coach CD and Coach Wade them on the 10U, and I think Coach Chris and your guy, what's my man name? Had them real good boys too. They played ball, I think, over there.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But to get to the question, it was to be honest, Coach Perry, Coach Jennings, that was one of the better things that could have happened to me from a coaching standpoint, because it started a realistic foundation of, we got to go to high school settings. We got to go to high schools with them young men from 8 years old to 12 years old. And they got used to the lights and what it could be like if they continued to play into high school. And from a father standpoint, but coaching, I've been blessed. I can say this because somebody else told me. Back to Coach Perry, I got to back up for a minute, Coach Jennings. I would be remiss not to be on this podcast with you if I didn't say this. We was at a McDonald's, Coach Perry, during the AAU. I'm gonna jump to the end and come back to the middle. And I think we was in a playoff game. We might have even been in Orlando. Forgive me, but it was somewhere like that. And my son, I ended up coaching on the team with my son, but I wasn't really coaching my son. And we was at a McDonald's, and he come and asked me some money to get a cheeseburger. And it was another coach saying, "That's your daddy?" And he was like, "Yeah." He said, "I didn't know that was your daddy. He be fussing at you more than he fuss at me." Which was awkward, but I had been with him early on and some other stuff, but I had to make a point to make sure. And I got that from my former high school coach, retired now, Coach Phil Strickland, whose last assignment was at Newberry. When he coached his boys, he said, "Man, look, they the best part of you. But when you out there, if you're a professional and you're trying to be, whether it's you for high school, you learn how to do it. You keep a side eye, but you when you're a people person, and back to you all, I mad respect to you veterans from the Corps, if I may say, when you learn certain trainings and how the proper handling of people, that's another thing. Like your son said, Coach, everybody can't do this because you have to keep your emotions out of it. But with that in the AAU, that was the biggest thing I got, that I would like to thank you guys, just to be not being biased for anybody that decides to hear this and listen. It's a big difference in the dynamic. I don't think that people really get until their child gets there. When you from the 4A and 5A level, then the 1 and 2A in your rural areas. And it's not necessarily always the level on the field, but the development, the trainers, the weight program, the play calling, that some of our children, at least during my time and with my son, didn't get the 8th or 9th or 10th grade that Coach DJ, your boys got. They pretty much had. Coach Perry, yours, you know, you had to polish him up. Now he still got to play, but people don't like to get into it, but you got to call a spade a spade. When you go to the Dutch Forks, or now I guess it's the White Nose, in these big schools, it's a big difference between being first and second string of 100 and some guys that you beat out than 22 or 23. To tie that back in the AAU, it was good for my son because he ended up playing and winning the little championship for the middle school later on. He won with the AAU, and he played baseball. But he learned how to compete because from there, Coach Perry messing with Coach DJ, I think one year we end up for Christmas, we went to Dallas, Texas, and played in a tournament with some kids that was from everywhere. But that experience had already helped him not be scared of the lights. So the hush, once he got to high school, it was more game on, where everything became natural to him. And even to hear him talk now, I think he got to even watch your young man a few times. You watching, and I'm listening to him saying what he's saying, and it's like it's different. He says he did it when he ended up going here and there. He have to play, but he already kind of know what he has to do because they put you on a different level. So that's what I got out of AAU, Coach. It brought the best out of me because you remember we ended up going on to the Glacier clinics. Right. And I wanted to make sure, Coach Perry, I know you'd appreciate this because I've always thought a lot of you from this aspect. I wanted to always be the best person in front of the men. One thing I love about the military, you know, and I always respect that. I'm an Army member, respected the Corps, respected my father's old jump man, Airborne 101 82nd in the Army, but everything that I learned, I can still see him. He says, so I ain't gonna tell you to do nothing I can't do. Or if I can't do it, I'm gonna have somebody do it. So you perfect it. So you know, I'm a hush. I don't mean to talk you to death, man, but I get excited because you bring back a lot of stuff, and it was different because it's unlimited weight. So you got something you get to see that little daddy ball stuff talking about he gonna run through the A gap and he want to be the new, I don't know the new kids now, Eric Dickerson or big boy from where he with the Baltimore Ravens. No. You get to meet little Perry early, and he gonna let you know if you really want to do that. And I love that. And it took that daddy ball factor out because now I got to coach this kid. You know, you might have one that has a potential, but he got mama over there been babying him, and you ain't trying to get the kid killed, but you like, look, if you get to around this corner, you know, that's what I got. I hope that was clear as muddy water.
Well, look, hey, like you say, you gonna see them Poogies and Ray Rays and Nook Nooks, and them boys coming.
Yes.
They gonna knock your him sideways.
Yes.
Coming, acting like you don't know.
Yes.
They come to see you. Coach Brad, how did your first experience with AAU? I know.
Well,
fun here.
You know how I got at AAU. I had to, you know, I'm Pop Warner. I played in Pop Warner, and Pop Warner is what we knew. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's what we knew up here. You know what I'm saying? They had the rec league here and there, but Pop Warner, every one of my brothers come through Pop Warner. But that what was new. We knew the weight limit and stuff like that. I was on Pop Warner board. But as the AAU basketball came out, it started showing you the competitiveness. Size didn't matter. You know, this is before the football hit. And it wasn't really clear how it worked out. But sitting right here in front of us, just drinking out of that cup, I got introduced to AAU football through Coach Jennings. And he would tell me, he said, Perry, this weight limit thing at Pop Warner is going to give way. You got to go to AAU. You need to go to AAU. But me being the administrator over my association, I had 100, almost 200 kids. And my demographics wasn't going to let me run up on Ray and Pookie that quick. Right. They just wasn't ready for it yet. So I told Jennings, I said, just keep working with me, man. I gotta, you know, show it to him. You know what I'm saying? So, and tied in what you said, you know, Dutch Fork had been good. They had always been good, but a lot of Dutch Fork players kind of just was gifted. Those boys came out of the Stephen Davis thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
Right.
but my thing was them in order for them to compete, they got to play against better competition.
Right.
And I finally was able to get them to go. I mean, they were all in. I mean, I'll never forget the first time we went up to Greenville, and them 13-year-olds come on, they looking like me and Jennings. hey, Irving. I'm looking at these Caucasian Americans. They looking like, oh, we're gonna kill him. We're gonna kill him. Like, yeah. But other than this, the physicality of it or the size of it, we could compete. They were just bigger. We just had to figure out how to beat them at their own game. We had the discipline. I knew we had the discipline. And I knew that the kids, whether they could do it or not, would do what you asked them to do. And that's how I got introduced into it. And I'm gonna tell you, my son kind of dominated. I'm speaking on my son and a couple other players that play with him. He kind of dominated. He was the small of the group. He was small, right? Compared to most of them. But he would kind of dominate, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I knew I took him to get. I knew he would get a break. Something we had some medical done, and the man started talking about growth plates. And I said, well, he gonna be hampered with his mama height. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I know myself. So I'm gonna lean on this. Basketball, on this baseball. But it played itself out. But I knew if he was gonna stay at Dutch Fork, he was gonna have to be able to compete. But I say that to say this. The AAU, a lot of people fear that weight. That's the best thing to introduce them kids. See, what people don't understand is if you take them off the football field and they're 7 or 8 years old, they're still horse playing around, right?
That's right.
Am I right or wrong? Now you don't go out there and say don't go wrestle around with Chandler who's 10 pounds heavier than you.
That's right.
Right? When y'all out there shoving and pushing the can on. So, but you got to see it from that aspect. So you play with it, you learn how to adjust with guys with their weight. The older guys who have the weight understand how to use their weight. It just comes in there. Just because you big, you just can't push nobody around.
Right.
AAU take a lot of bullies out of the game now.
Yes, sir.
Because I've been the biggest in the group. I always get the #1 prize. The AAU was the best thing ever happened to my association over there. And when we got in there, they loved it. And then plus won the state championship. The smallest thing. But it was a beautiful thing. I love it to this day. I like the Skyford at the end. It was just a good thing. It was just persuasion-wise. It took a while because that's all we knew. And we had to think safety. And then we know concussion was coming up.
Right.
When you take a step back, when they're out there playing and nobody watching, they roughhousing, they wrestling, they tumbling.
That's
see
right.
What I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, but why couldn't you do it in something that's organized and you're watching them? So yeah, I was able to sell it to the folks over there, my organization, and we loved it. Once we kind of got into it, we loved it. So, but yeah, AAU, it took a minute, but I think it's the best thing now. And as you see now, it has given that weight limit thing was. If you go back to the history, Pop Warner was done for inner city kids in Pennsylvania. Is where it started.
Yeah. Okay.
But it wasn't in our inner city. It was for the weight limit to control that for the whites. This is what it was. It was a white control thing. So they started expanding out, and you see right now, and your boy Boston. You remember Boston?
Oh yeah, yes sir.
I told Boston, I say Pop Warner gonna have to give way to this unlimited weight. And it makes a difference.
Yeah,
it makes a difference now. It's a big difference. Big difference to play with understanding because you're really not doing that much, Wado, but to be able to push on a bigger body and understand how to use your leverage. If nothing else, AAU teaches kids leverage.
It does.
Smaller man gets smaller. You know what I'm saying? How to get up on them and moving. You understand the physics of leverage and what it'll do. I ain't got to be the biggest, strongest. Just how I do it. So, and a lot of lights come up with kids. Oh, he big, but he the slowest thing. So if you can't run around him, there's something wrong.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You adapt. But yeah, I think I loved it when we went over there. It took me a minute. I had to settle on a lot of people. But I loved it. I loved it for my son. I love it for the guys. Matter of fact, I'll tell you this. 1, 2. You ain't gonna believe this, bro. If I tell you this, you would never believe this. Our first year that went in the AAU, I can count Probably 15 or 20 of them is Division One ball player. They're playing college ball.
No,
All the way down. The last one of my kids that's gonna go to college out of that C system, out of AU system, it's this class. Would have been my babies then, right?
Yeah.
I think there's one is going to the number one DB in the back is going to Georgia Tech. This guy name is he's going to Clark Atlanta. He's a slot receiver. He's a slot receiver. But this is the last of when I would have been in charge, but they were in AAU. But I can pick them by listen, I can count them on one finger prior to AAU.
Right. Gotcha.
If that that's only been around a while, you gonna have a few dogs come through there and nothing you can do with them, right?
Right.
But when I went to AAU and them boys played more, and right now I take that back. The number one linebacker in the state right now is at Dutch Fork. And he's the number one middle linebacker, one defense starting at varsity on 10th grade.
Yes, sir.
And he a baseball kid, and he come out of association. But
Hey.
I say that made a difference for these kids, and with the polishing and the schools, you say, Dutch Fork got a unique program. It's 24/7. They lift weights 7 days a week, and you got to buy into it. But like you said, it's AAU was good. That was the best thing. I think I credit a lot for my son probably being able to be able to challenge the weights and being able to start, quick at Dutch Fork because he had went up against some good competition.
Yes, sir.
Some of the same. Matter of fact, he seen some of the same boys come up him that remember him in AAU.
That's right.
When we got put in the North region like Gaffney,
right,
Greenville area and all this stuff, he like, hey, so and so, hey, you that so and so, you the little short, yeah, they come back together now.
Come back,
I remember
right.
you. Yeah,
Right.
so but it's the AAU is definitely here to stay, and the unlimited weight just for the coaches to teach it right. Irving, I'm gonna hire you next year. We got I gotta go get Jennings. No, I'm just kidding.
You got me pumped up, man. Well,
I want to get back on the sideline.
Yeah, man. Coach Jennings, when you say that, Coach Jennings, if I may, Coach Perry brought up, and you was talking about the pipeline that you had before you got in. You had a bunch of them brothers, young men from the Low Country, and then Kazarius or KZ Adams from Great Collegiate.
He come out of y'all too?
Yeah, him and Cadillac them played. That was with the Bearcats. All that was AAU.
That's what I'm saying. It's a big difference.
It's a big difference. It's a big difference, man.
It's a big difference, and I think you need that AAU. Unlike here, I just don't think the high school. I think Jennings touched on this one time before. I don't think that the high school put enough emphasis into the youth in the area. You fight this in. Now I'll say that Dutch Fork, that man brought it all the way in. He ain't supposed to give you the field. What I don't, he live right across the street. What I don't know don't hurt me. Do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? Not to get him in trouble. Hey, they don't playing around. But my thing is, these coaches, they got these facilities. Most of them going to artificial turf. They can't tap that field, man. But them kids got there and use them fields. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Them the same ones that you won't coaching you, and I just don't understand it.
Yeah, that's a big problem.
That's a big problem.
Yeah, and I do. It's a money thing. They don't.
I agree. I mean,
I'm just gonna be honest with you.
But it's already paid for.
We know that. I was like we said before. There is no reason in the world why we should have to drive past nice fields to go play on some bull crap field down there in the farm area. Why we can't play at these high schools that our tax money paying for?
Right. Safe. Some places safe.
Right.
Every time they ask for a referendum, whatever it is, for a school, they get it.
Mm-hmm.
Taxpayers' money. But we got some districts that'll tell us it's $2,500.
That's right.
Hell yeah.
And ain't no youth program got that kind of money.
No. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Coach. Go ahead.
And depending on what association you with, you may not have an opportunity to raise money because some associations don't do fundraisers. They don't do extra things, like fish fries and car washes and stuff we used to do, pancake breakfasts and stuff like that to raise money for the organization. Now, we was fortunate here where we was at. We had people that didn't mind going stroke a check. Long as they child had a uniform with their name on the back of it.
It could be spelled wrong. It looked like it was right.
On there. They want it. They gonna pay for it. They ain't no problem.
Yeah, that's the rare and few, Jennings, and but the schools could have pulled. I used Irma for a while,
Right.
and because that coach, to me, he may have put. I don't think that they really allowed him to do, but he was about the kids. He wanted a safe place, want to be in a good field, and when y'all, kids to enjoy, and that was at Irma, and that's why I held my games and stuff.
Mhm.
But the district, only thing he said, the district required me to have somebody on staff to represent the district during these times, right? He said, you know what he said? Well, I get up on Saturday morning, come watch film. I'll be here till a certain time, right? All I ask you to do, keep my facility clean, and you pay those last few hours to a janitor, somebody to sit here and watch. You got to have their interest in it. That's going to protect their interest. All he had to do is sit there. He ain't had to clean it up, nothing. He's there. But he said, I'm here. I'm the athletic director. I'm here every Saturday morning. The game start at 8 o'clock. Most games done by 1. He said, I'm here doing film. And he said, I'll tell you another thing. There's not a high school coach that ain't in his office on Saturday morning.
That's right.
Not a good high school coach. Come on now. Who ain't going to some watch film that night? But what are you doing Saturday morning during football season?
Something. Watching that film.
See, if you watching film, so he's on the property. He's there to monitor it. If you got any issues, and my hat goes off to that man. He's like, no. I was like, well, dude, he's like, no. To make sure these kids have fun, make sure they're safe. We had no issues, and I know other people do it. I've seen other coaches do it.
See, Coach Perry, I don't know if DJ remember this. He probably do. When Chris and when the group had the West Columbia Bearcats with Shapier, he was on board the same way, and he flat out told us, "Oh, I'm glad you guys doing it, but I'm looking for myself in the future. We need to try to build a pipeline." And he run that. Things change for whatever reason later, from what I understand. But a lot of that is what you're saying is where you've been blessed and with the coach and yourself. We got to build those some kind of way. We got to build that relationship back with who's ever over the organizations or somebody that they deem somewhat qualified or whatever, because a lot of it is ego too. A lot of it is ego. When you talk to these guys or gals, if I may say, or ladies, and they see what the future is that you're trying to build for the team or the young men in that relationships, they do it in baseball. Where you don't have too much of a problem with that. Overall, at least in these areas, it's done. You might not play all your games at that, but you bet your bottom dollar the head coach of Gray and Dutch Fork and what know who that little 7th grader is out there throwing that heat. You know it. You know what I mean? You know, and you keep up with it, and they knew probably about your son. At that time, like you said, you had built that relationship because, like what DJ was saying, I know on my end, a lot of it was ego for some reason. It's like they don't respect. If I think DJ touched on this, or we talked about it. It's like some of them don't respect the youth coaches either. Now, don't get me wrong. If I may say, everybody don't need to be a youth coach. Y'all know that already. That don't make us look good at all.
Hey, that's exactly right. That's exactly that's where the breakdown is.
Yes, sir.
Exactly. That's where the breakdown. You got to come there and treat it like a business and understand what they're doing. You're absolutely right on that.
Yeah. Okay. We have a lot of people come out, and for whatever reason, they think that they talk to kids in that kind of way, cussing the kids, whatever. I'm not a fan of cussing at nobody. I don't want to cuss nobody's child. Now, I ain't gonna cuss at the child. I might cuss at the situation that we might be.
right.
Cuss at the child. But yeah. But you're right, Coach. We got coaches that come out and volunteer, but they volunteer for the wrong reasons. A a lot of the volunteers sort of make sure the kid get the best position they can possibly get on the team. And that don't always work out either. You know, their child not putting in the work. And we have something to say, yeah, well, you know, little Johnny down there doing what he's supposed to do. No, little Johnny. In your eyesight, he might be, but in the coach's eyesight, no, he ain't. So, but yeah. But fellas, moving on. Let me doing this. Sorry, somebody was texting me, man. But anyway, based on NIL, because everybody know NIL going on right now. Like we were saying, almost to the little league now. I know it's in high school now. Where you think we'll end up at here in the next 4 to 5 years with NIL? Because I know for a fact, you know, it's a lot of players getting paid in college. It's not probably never gonna see the pro. And just for example, let's say for example, college basketball. The young ladies that left South Carolina, not last year, but them girls too, but the year before last, all them girls went pro. They probably were making more money in college than they are in pro. Which I think is a shame. But one thing I liked about this Gamecock program, they that coach took care of them women. He took care of her players. So that's why they was able to do what they did. And they still doing it to this day. Yeah, they won the SEC championship today. So they'll be moving on number 1 seed, not overall number 1 seed. Maybe the overall number 1 seed, because you see UCLA just got beat. So not UCLA, USC got beat. Juju Watkins and the girls got beat. But I said all that to say this. Where do y'all see it? I mean, where you think it'll be here in the next 4 to 5 years? Either one. Anybody can take that.
Coach, I believe Coach Perry be better than me because he that's why I let the best be last. I jump on
that. Hey, well, I tell you, the NIL, everybody don't get the NIL. I mean, but yeah, my son get a little stipend there, but he ain't getting the NIL. Y'all think the NIL, right. You know, unless we get out there shopping, right? Unless we got Irving's contract to say, I like him, I'm gonna pay him X amount of dollars. So you got to get out there and do some sharing. So it's not as everybody's not getting out of there. It's just the top the top 2 or 3% that's getting them high end players, you know. But I believe I think what's gonna happen is it's gonna knock off some of these smaller programs. See, Nick Saban saw it. He saw it for everybody. They've been getting out of here for a long time. Not everybody. You can't mess with that oil money.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Listen, get Arkansas another year. The man got Arkansas out of Kentucky.
That's
and
right.
He know his two brothers. The man gave $50 million, and you got 12 players divided on it. And he ain't got to touch it down. So I just believe that if they're making the money, I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna let y'all think on this. Let's back up before NIL. Okay. They throwing around, Kentucky threw around $50 million when they hired Calipari to come be the head coach for Arkansas. $50 million allotment just for NIL. Texas A&M, you get $50,000 just for being on the roster, right? And you got 120 on the roster, right? So my thing is, what about all the money prior to this? So you ain't even scratching the surface.
Right.
So they're not, you know what I'm saying is, you selling me, you pimping me, I get it. 100, let's just round college off. $200,000 for college education. I ain't knocking it. I ain't paid a dime cent now. I'm not knocking either way, right? But you making probably $4.2 million off of me.
Right.
Think about that now. Think about you making off of what you go back and you go back to NIL and it really started came to light when you go back to the young man that was at Duke, the big fella down there, the big guy.
Yeah.
They was talking about how much his jersey was going for, and he can't even do nothing. I mean, the boy out of California told in he's they to give him the trophies back. If you don't understand, you got to understand the NCAA ruling before NIL became available. They can give you a toothbrush, but they can't give you the toothpaste.
That's right.
That's right. Look, I can feed you 5 times a day, but I can't. I forget. It's the stupid rules that they.
Yes.
Listen, let me tell you something. You get $30 on what man you know that size can eat off $30.
Exactly. Exactly.
So the NIL's there. The money's there. It's been there. They've been making millions. They just mad now because these boys getting some of the pieces of pie, but it still ain't hurting them. They ain't even scratching the surface.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't scratching the surface. You get $50,000 for being on team. Well, they said, well, everybody else ain't getting it. Well, everybody else ain't putting that many in the stadium.
That's right.
Everybody ain't taking them same injuries.
That's right.
Everybody ain't taking that lick. So
That's
I said, give them every dime. Yeah, my son on it's a private school, so you know it's here there. You know, listen. If he could go someplace and he got that lump like that, he good. I'm good. I still get that one thing they can't take from him. That's that goddamn education. That still come back to that bottom line.
Yep.
And he's playing. See, now he can go somewhere and probably get on somebody's squad, and he wants to play and sit there on the sideline and be unhappy and one call. But he wants to play. He stars. He's playing. So my thing for it is, yeah, I see these boys getting these 250,000. They getting this in, makes more money than some of them guys will ever make, and that may be true, but I still like the idea of that free education. I still like the idea. My son been in school, and the most I've ever sent down there towards school is $80. That's for parking pass for 2 years.
Hard to beat, brother.
Bro, listen. Listen. My son wanted to play the game. From the time he was a child to all the sports he played. If he don't play enough now, I done got my investment back 2 years. I done got over 100 something. It's schooling. You see what I'm saying? So it's all in how you look at it. I think kids should get every dime. I think my son should get more because they're packing the crowd. I think the money should be there. So where you think we be in the future, they're gonna have to give up some more of that money. That's why now the schools want to get involved with it. Now they want to. You see the Beamer down there talk about, well, we want to get people on staff that try to educate these guys on how to get this money, what they need to get this money. And see a lot of people don't know now. They getting this money. They got to pay taxes on your grown man now. You get that $2,000, you got to pay the tax man come to see you.
That's right.
I would think that if you're paying out that kind of money, don't you think that should have came along with it? That they teach you and show you how to invest and everything.
What was that? That was that college basketball team sued for? No, they're professional. They're getting paid. Well, you would think, but the NCAA says that you can't until they pass the law that you can't help them with that. You can't do anything with that.
Well, if I may say, big brothers, Coach Jennings, not that even need an F-bomb. Now you got to still, this, so I'm just saying it. You got to, I'm ready because you got to still realize what you're dealing with now.
Yeah.
It's a gladiator sport, and most won't. Not that we are, but since it's Sunday, some will just say, a fool and his money will soon part.
Right.
So you can give that on the
Say that one more time. Say that one more.
A fool and his money will soon part. So that just be to get you in there. Back to where your matter of fact, man, it don't have to be in June, but again, I get goosebumps. I'm on a website, whatever you want to call this, with two good men, but great fathers. DJ, what did you tell me about the young man? He's not a news anchor, but and I know Coach Perry know all of them. But them boys, one or two of them boys graduated, right? College.
All of them graduated 7-1.
Say that one more time.
Yeah, all of them graduated 7-1. I got 4 boys.
Some building planes.
He ain't building them good, but he building them.
See that? Whoa, I hope you don't. But when you,
that's all I knew.
I say that to say, just hearing Coach Perry say what he say, not that I'm shocked from who the man that I believe he is. We in a climate where Coach Perry know what God has blessed him to have and his wife, child's mama, was instilled in the young man that's playing, and all of them, I would assume. This ball thing is icing on the cake. What's between your ears is what's going to get you on down the road.
Yes, sir.
If that's going to be all three of us on here, Coach Perry, you brought it up. That's why I wanted you to go, not knowing I was going to go here. I told Coach Jennings this yesterday. And not making this about our sons, but an example since they played. Man, baby, he can come out the end of the year, but I think his original graduation date is next year in May. When he realized, Coach Perry, that he wasn't the prototype, or he wasn't going to be what my father's 6'4". Once he realized his growth plate was closed, he was like, Daddy, we done been everywhere playing ball. From played in the Hall of Fame game, we done played here, we done played there. If I never play again, you sent me because I got academics. And you always told me to have options. And I'm going to call him Knucklehead, Coach Perry. You know, Coach Jennings love to tell us. We won't say the words he said, but you got to always keep yourself in the best position to win. We got to have those talks again. If they're not doing it with the young men at these tables, the parents got to, if your kid going to play ball and he pookie and he just getting by, then okay, if that's what we're going to do, you better understand the cost for the loss. That's the biggest difference now than just a few years ago when you all start coming through, Coach Perry and Jennings and all. They got to understand that. And for the ones, because of course everybody's not going to be necessarily academically inclined. They got to understand what the loss is going to be. And if I can get this front end, I get it. But then you got to start looking at really early on. And if I'm wrong, y'all tell me if y'all disagree. You got to really start looking at this thing as a business portfolio. Damn near by the time they start getting into high school. Which way are we going to go?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Very much.
That's where I'm at with it, Coach. You talking about the 5 years. I got a question for both of y'all with it. Do you think, because you hear the talk, the rumbling, you brought it up, Coach Perry, with that oil money. I don't think they will with oil money. I think it's going to be around, but at one time, I thought they was going to start capping it because of some of the major universities or the smaller ones that can't compete. But now that's almost just like I guess it's fair to say, our regular lifestyles is. If you can't go to the store and buy what you want, if Costco go to $20 for eggs and you ain't got $20, you just ain't getting no eggs unless somebody give them to you.
That's right. So you got that's pretty much how the world runs, right?
Yes, sir.
You got to stay in your lane. You got to stay in your lane, and I couldn't agree with you more. You got to make a. I love for them to take my son, but like you said, food and the money part ways. If you ain't teaching them how to invest that money and they running through and they buying these $100,000 cars and stuff like that. They understand that. You getting it right back. So what they do is you got a guy go down to USC, right?
Come on now.
You give him to $250,000, or the average is probably about 100,000. But then you got a man, you got the other man right there ready to sell him a car for 60,000.
There it is.
That's already you feeding the money back to him. Oh, I want me a $60,000 car. I want to run up and down the road instead of taking that 60,000. You got to pay taxes on and go invest it in case you may have an injury. Because you got to remember. You could be one injury. I don't want to put that on nobody.
That's real.
Injury away, and you got to rely on that brain now. But yeah, I would love for mine to get that kind of bread. You know what I'm saying? And play it out like that. But like you say, I'm gonna take what's meant for challenge is meant for challenge, and we're gonna make the most of it.
There it is.
If he ain't meant to be at if he ain't meant to be at Carolina or Florida State or Alabama, he get an opportunity to play on the next level. Paying for his education, the biggest thing for me, and he don't know it. Well, he understands it now because he got a sister that's still paying her school, still paying off her nursing. Right. When he talked to her, you still paying for that sister? You almost 30-something years, like she a nurse, right?
Right.
He's like, I said, look, when you walk out of school, brother, you ain't got nothing over your head. Now you lit and you work for it.
That's big, man.
That's a lot. That's a lot of money there. I mean, if you think about it. So the NIL, I think it'll be here. They're gonna have to pay these folks. I think they're trying to put the schools back into control. They may cap it. It's just gonna be hard.
Yeah.
It's gonna be hard to kind of cap it now because you got too many people outside the NCAA's that's getting their hands, that's negotiating. Man, you can start up a firm negotiate. That's everybody got their hands in it now.
You exactly right.
Everybody wants some of that to tell you how to go and get it. And I think they're well deserved. I just wish, like you said, they had something there. Like you said, from the school, when we give you this money, you got to have a crash course on something. But I don't know, man. You just saying, you got to remember some of these kids still got kids. Some of these kids' parents are still kids.
Yeah. Well, Coach, if I'm by you saying that, Coach Jennings, what it should do for, in my opinion, in our communities. I don't know if it's too rough to say for us, but this should be highlighted now, really, in your youth sports, in your organization's own early education in financial literacy. Because just talking with you brothers, man, I've been watching y'all close and then afar. Real quick, Coach Perry, me and DJ always was good, but we met at Weston House. And I remember I tell him this all the time, it was always good people. But man, I call it what snapped with me that I just got a crazy respect for him. One day we was working and I was working over. And he was on the back shift, to run with them boys. Sacrifice for them boys. And I was like, dang, I used to bounce here and there. I was always working another job. But I say that to say it's gotta be more sacrificing on the parental end and some humility if you don't know, to get with some guys, whether it's like yourselves or others that, okay, all of you guys, all of us, should I say, we are professional in some aspect of our life. So what I don't know about XYZ, I'm gonna come to Coach Perry and say, hey, what you know about this? And if you don't know, you humble enough to say, you know what, Coach Irving, give me 48 hours, give me the end of the week, I get with you. I'm gonna put you with somebody and we'll go from there. That's what happened. We got to get back to that instead of just worried about my kid going to be the damn quarterback. And he could be the next whoever. But if he don't know just what you how to handle that, if Chandler I hope this don't happen, but he call you tomorrow and just say, you know what, Dad, I'm just tired. My hands hurt from tackling. You gonna be good because you gonna have that same look in there. You know what? It's one hell of a ride. Moving on to the next. He got options. But a lot of us don't. We got to get back to that with the programs to start implementing that with the potential stars that's coming on. That's what I think, Coach Jennings and Coach Perry. Did y'all hear me?
Yeah, we got you. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, that it's just been an ongoing thing, and I'm glad that the young men and the young women, all athletes, are finally starting getting some money. They should have been getting a long time ago. Because think about it, if we just talk about football alone, man, college football, packed stadiums out across the nation.
Yes, sir.
And that's coming on. Yeah, football game on every day now. It used to be. I mean, during the football season, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So, I mean, football was on every day. And college was on mostly during the week and on Saturdays. I mean, you think about the number of stadiums that get jam-packed with 100,000 people at a football game. And we talking about just tickets getting in there. They ain't talking about all the other stuff they make off the paraphernalia and everything else, food and everything else they sell it. And now they sell beer there too now. So, yeah, I mean, it's just a cash cow, man. Cash cow. So they should have been paying them kids. But
yeah, because everybody else eating but the kids all this time. Everybody else eating but the kids.
And that's exactly right.
Everybody eating off the TV station. Everybody.
Yeah,
it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
They in the doggone store and they call themselves. Well, they said they put the names on the back of the jersey no more because they don't know who he is. Well, hell, if you wear number 7, I know who number 7 is. What difference it make?
When you bring up something else, when you talk about the no numbers, and I respect all the men that coach, whether it was Coach Saban or For us old schoolers, Joe Paterno and Lou Holtz. You remember Lou? You know Notre Dame and all them used to wear them jerseys with no names on it.
Yep.
I want to make sure I say this right. I can't knock the coaches and they win it. But hell, as good as y'all can coach, do you not think you would be that much better if you had all the channels? And what's the fella name used to be at the Valley that went to Alabama? You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The one that went to Georgia, then the one that went to Alabama. Hell, I'm going to be good too if I got all the stars and I got all the money. I mean, you know, I might not. Coach Perry might really could be a better coach than me, but I got all the top 5. You know what I'm saying? What did Dawn Staley tell the little young lady from LSU the other week? She was like, well, she got the whole staff. She said, oh, well, let's go back.
What the young man from Kentucky said is unfair that she got all the McDonald's America. They asked her about that today.
Oh,
hey, it ain't my fault. Coach them up.
There you go.
But here's the thing. I didn't start with them.
I
developed my squad, took my time, took my licks, and climbed the ladder.
Teach now. You teach now. You teach.
You should have said, but
and nobody said nothing, Coach. We ain't gonna get off. Coach Jennings ain't gonna get off the youth football. But it's funny, even when you talk about that with her, nobody said nothing when Gino was up there beating up everybody. Nobody said nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. That's that's the world we live in, man. But she doing her thing now, and she still got it rolling.
Yes, sir.
I don't know how they're gonna come out of that. I mean, I know how they came out of the SEC tournament. We're gonna see how they get when they get in the NCAA tournament. But I think they'll go deep. Now, we win again, who knows? But I think they'll go deep. But yeah, but look, guys, hey man, our time is about up, man. I have enjoyed y'all getting on the show, man. Appreciate y'all volunteer to get on. You know, when you do something like this, man, you gotta have a group of individuals that want to be on and get their opinion and their opinion respected. And I think y'all did the show great today. Any final thoughts before I close this thing out, man?
It's good to see y'all, man.
Always.
Yeah, man. Know everybody busy, but that's another
Let's
thing.
do it.
Go ahead, Coach. Go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say, let's do it again soon.
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm gonna try to do this. I want to do this at least once a week, and depending on how fast it take off, and the people I can get to be on, and then having a good time to do it. That's why we do it the way we do it, so we can invite people on and come on and talk, and hopefully we provide information to people that really want to hear. And if it don't, they can ask. You know, we have a chat with it going in, because what I do, I'll post it to YouTube, and they can go on there and they can make the comments or whatever. But well, fellas, appreciate y'all, man. Love y'all, guys, man. And
I got one thing.
Go ahead.
Hey, Irving.
What
I
you
wouldn't
got?
be fair if I wouldn't be fair if we ain't realize when our NIL contract's coming through. They ain't even like this. Hey, boy, he get too big, we need to get this contract done, because I wouldn't be right unless I asked him that, right?
You better say it.
Hey, let's get there first, then we can talk about that. We got to get there.
Yes, sir, because we coming. No, we coming.
Okay.
Yes,
It's good to see you, Herb, man. We got to get together.
We will, Coach. We will.
All right, man. Much love to y'all, man.
All right.
Man,
All
y'all
right.
be good. All right.